Hey there and welcome to the Knit Show. I'm Vickie Howell. Today we're focused on the big knits trend. So that's those big, chunky, bulky yarns, bigger needles, quick projects, pretty much everything that I love. We are gonna start our day in the studio with Oejong Kim from Loopy Mango. Then we're headed over to Washington to go to the Skacel knitting headquarters. From there, we'll be back in the studio and we're gonna visit with my friend Michele Muska from Boye. But first, we're gonna hang out with our Knit Hive. Hello, ladies. Good to have you here.
Thank you.
Anna, we are going to be meeting up with your partner, your business partner soon, but I would love it if I've never asked you this before. I'm curious how you're so on trend now, but you didn't just start your company. How did you decide to focus on chunkier yarns with a brand like Loopy Mango?
So about 7 years ago, Oejong and I had a boutique in New York, and we really wanted to teach people how to knit. New Yorkers have very short attention span, so we had to be able to do it in 1 or 2 hours, and there were no chunky yarns out there, so we started making our own.
So you had to do it yourself. I like that attitude. I love it. Wow, your stuff is so gorgeous. I don't know any knitter that it doesn't just drool over Loopy Mango yarn. So I'm thrilled that you guys are here.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And next up, we have sisters in the house. We have Chris and Catherine. I'm thrilled to have you here. I love sisters who craft together.
We're thrilled to be here. Very excited.
Were you? Was it a crafty household you grew up in? Did you do a lot of projects together?
Yes.
It was a very crafty household.
My mother was
actually.
very into decoupage.
I mean,
And macrame.
Yeah.
Any book from the 70s of a crafting project, she was into that.
I think I would have liked your mom.
Yeah.
It's really
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Really good. So you're a knitter. You focus more on needle arts, right?
Yes.
Does that matter? Do you still spend time crafting together now, or do the different crafts have you at different groups and
Actually,
different
we
places?
do. There's a lot of overlap, and we'll go shopping for fibers together. And luckily, there are a lot of shops that combine both of the things that we like to do.
That's right. Yeah.
Well, I'm really happy that you're here representing just any other needle art besides knitting and crochet, because I believe that if you love one textile art, you're probably going to be interested in all of them, and I just love them all being represented. I personally love to embroider, so I'm thrilled that you brought some
Great.
stuff here.
Thank you.
Well, I think that it would be lovely if you guys would just hang out and knit and get to know each other while I go introduce our first guest.
Wonderful.
Okay. My first guest in the studio today is co-owner, co-founder of Loopy Mango, Oejong Kim. I am so happy to have you here. Thank you for being here.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Your stuff just makes me smile. It's impossible not to get instantly happy when you see it. And I want to get into all of that. But first, I'm so curious. We just met Anna earlier when we were over in the Hive. And she's from Russia. You're from South Korea.
Yes.
How do you come together and create all of this?
We are in New York, and we took a class workshop at FIT, and we became very fast friends. And a few months later, we opened a store.
So you took a class at the Fashion Institute. Were you actually attending?
We didn't go.
So that's even more serendipitous that you both just were interested in the class. You
Yes.
meet, and you start the store, although it was not actually a knitting or crochet store because you had only barely started crocheting, right?
No, I found a crochet hook in my suitcase, and I was very interested in doing something with my hands, and I went to Barnes & Noble. There was before social media, there was no YouTube, so I bought a book. Starting there, I self-taught crochet and knitting.
So you just taught yourself through books.
Yes.
That's really old school. That's so good. And I love that you just found a crochet hook in your suitcase.
Yes, I don't
like,
know why it was there.
I think the universe just really wanted you to create all of this beauty. And we're going to move over to what we're going to be making today. We saw that when we saw this on your website, we had to have it here. It's such an interesting, this is the Aster stitch, correct?
Yes.
So we're going to be making a version of the scarf. Right?
Yeah, this is very fun stitches because it looks like a crochet, almost crochet, but actually it's knitted.
It's
So-
very unique, and you can do it in all different colorways, and you offer either sort of like a blanket out of it.
Blanket, baby blanket, or scarf, or cushion cover, and it's so much fun.
It's really, really fun. I love it. So what we're really going to focus on today is the stitch pattern that creates all of this, and then where you go from there is totally your call. So why don't we get started with the knitting?
Yeah. So this stitches is multiple of 6 plus 1. So I have 13 cast on 13 stitches.
Okay, so a
And
multiple of 6 plus 1.
yeah, first row you just knit. So I knit 13 stitches.
Okay.
And you're gonna introduce second color. So first you slip over first stitches, and then you're gonna knit 5. Here's the interesting thing. You're gonna knit, but you're gonna yarn over twice here. So that's 5 times.
So you're going to yarn over twice.
Yeah, twice. Just like this,
5 times.
5 times.
And this will actually create more fabric for what you're going to show
Yeah.
after this.
And then after that, slip 1 stitches and same.
So the same way you would if you were mosaic knitting.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going a little fast.
You are going really fast. I like it.
And then last stitches also.
You slip the
Slip,
last one.
yeah.
Okay, so we flip it over.
And then next row, you slip, and then you gonna drop all the stitches.
Okay, let's show one of those slowly so they can see.
See?
So you're pulling both loops
Both
off.
loops, yeah.
And what that does is that creates length where there wouldn't have been length before.
Sure. And then you're gonna put the needle back, and then knit purl 1 and yarn over, purl 1, yarn over, and purl 1 more stitch. And then you slip.
Okay.
And
so essentially you want to drop all those stitches so that you get that height.
Height.
But then you need to put them back so that you actually work the stitches from there.
Correct.
Okay, great.
And the slip 1 and same. You drop all the stitches here. And then put the needle back.
Put the stitches, all of those loops back on your left-hand needle.
Yes. And then purl 1, yarn over, purl 1, yarn over, purl 1. And then slip last stitch. Now turn the work. This time you're gonna use the first color, and you're gonna knit 1 and knit 5 stitches from the flower.
So she's just carrying that initial color up the side the whole time,
Yes.
which is great because you're not going to have a ton of ends to
No.
weave in.
And then here, see, you will see the loose loop here in
So
the
the
back.
strand, when you carry the yarn in the back, that'll leave this strand in the
Yeah,
back.
you're gonna pick it up and knit it together, like this. And then knit rest of the stitches.
Is that just to keep it looking clean on the back?
Yes.
That's a really nice detail. Unexpected, you wouldn't think of it.
And then next, it's just the knit, regular.
Yeah, go
That's
ahead and
how
do
you
that.
create the flowers.
Okay, so let's just look at that really quickly. Look at that, it looks like a little burst. It's so pretty. It's also kind of twisted them. It's
Yeah,
so interesting. All right, so you go back and you're gonna knit
I'm
across.
gonna knit across 13 stitches. 3. Okay, here. Okay, almost here. And then next row, we're switching the colors to,
We're going back
yeah.
to.
And then you're gonna slip 4 stitches.
All right, and I just want to show them what we're gonna be doing. So you just finished all of this, and you'll notice that there's 2 aster flowers for this scarf down here, but then it alternates, and that's what we're gonna show you how to get over to the space so you create that look.
Yeah, first 4 stitches you slip, and then you're gonna bring the second color, same as before.
So you're carrying
And-
it up the back.
Yeah, and
I'm gonna just show them that really quickly. So even though that's so counterintuitive for knitters, but just make sure you do it loosely so you don't pull.
okay, you don't pull
Yeah.
and knit but yarn over twice.
And this again is creating
The flower.
the flower.
Yeah.
And then from there, it's exactly the same. but then-
Exactly same.
But do you slip the last stitches?
Yeah, and you have 4 stitches left, you slip all of this.
Okay, and then when you flip it around,
Flip it over, and also you slip 4 stitches. You don't
Purlwise.
need purlwise. And
so
then
you're never
you drop,
working with more than one color at a time.
and you drop all the stitches again from the needle. And then put the needle back, and then purl, yarn over,
Purl.
purl, yarn over. It's a little awkward, but you'll get used to it.
Especially when you're dealing with strands of yarn and cords.
Yes.
Yep.
And then you slip rest. And then knit all the way.
Okay. So then the rest is done exactly how we showed before.
Yeah. Then it become the pattern of the scarf like
Yeah,
this.
I love it. I'm kind of obsessed with this stitch right now. Hopefully I can make one. after this.
Sure,
Okay,
sure.
all right. Well, and all of you will be able to make one as well. If you go to our website, thenitshow.com, the entire pattern for the Aster stitch scarf will be there. All right, up next, we are going to take a little field trip and see behind the scenes at Skacel Knitting.
My name is Karin Skacel, and I'm CEO of Skacel Collection, Inc. I purchased the company from my parents 10 years ago, back in 2006, and I have been running it ever since.
I started Skacel in 1987. Yeah, 87. It's 30 years this year. I started the business more or less because I loved knitting, crocheting. I have been doing this since I was 4 or 5 years old with my grandmother. And I like to import. Importing was very important to me. I had the business knowledge for it, and that helped a lot. On top of it, at that time, we started accessories too, and one of the accessories were the Adi Turbo needle. And the Adi Turbo needle was the needle who really brought up our business, because this country didn't know at that time how to knit with circular needles. So the needles were really in the beginning of the business, our big business. And the knitting yarns came second. Then Karin came, I never forget the day. It was a weekend. She came from, where were you, in Spokane? Yeah.
Kennewick.
Kennewick. She came over and she said, if you like me to, I buy your business. I think it was a blessing, really, that she came in. We could have sold the company, but you never know if it is being guided as you have guided it during the years.
I think the biggest misconception about our company is that we're this huge corporation, and we're actually not. We're actually a family-run business, and we have a family type of culture within our business too. I have a lot of employees that have been with us a long time. The average length of stay right now is 10 years. We've just got a really great crew here, and it's important for us to make sure and take care of them because they take care of us. Skacel is comprised of 3 basic components. We have the needle component, which are the Adi needles that we import from Germany. We have the yarn component, which has 3 different factors: yarns from Shuppel, yarns from Zitrone, and our own line, which is called Haiku. And then the 3rd component is brand new to us. We just took over Renaissance Blue Moon buttons last year, and we started our own little button company. So within the Adi line, when I first started, there was one basic needle called the Adi Turbo needle. And now we have the 4 different complete lines, which are the Turbo, the Bamboo, the Rockets, and the lace needles. And then last year, Selter came out with a phenomenal wooden needle, which is made out of olive wood. The 3 yarn lines that we do carry are Zitrone, Shuppel, and then there's, of course, our line, which is the Haiku line. The Shuppel and Zitrone lines, they used to be one combined line, and then approximately 8 or 9 years ago, the 2 gentlemen, Mr. Shuppel and Mr. Zitrone, decided to go their own ways, and we were fortunate enough to be able to import both their brands. The Haiku line, which is Skacel's own line, we have developed in-house here. So we have Chuck, who's actually in charge of new product development, and myself. We work on the different yarns, always based on what are customers asking us for, or what are we looking for that's not out on the market. Fall of last year, we actually bought a small company called Blue Moon Renaissance Buttons. And we took over the company. We got rid of buttons that we felt weren't moving or she didn't have moving. And we pretty much reinvented the line. We now have buttons coming from, I think it was 17 countries that we counted total. So we have them coming from all over the world. We try to have the buttons developed in the countries which have the appropriate wood. What makes our company very unique is that everybody who works here is either a knitter, a crocheter, a weaver, spinner. Some of them do all of it, but everybody is involved with the fiber arts industry somehow. Everybody has a passion for it. What is important to me is that our employees are happy, that our customers are happy, and that we're selling the best possible products that we can.
We are back in the studio, and my next guest is Michele Muska from Boye by Simplicity Creative Group.
Hi, Vickie.
Hello, I'm so happy to have you here.
Oh, I'm really excited too.
We are going to be making a hat, a chunky hat, but the construction is a little bit different and maybe for beginners even better.
Oh, I think so. I have trouble reading patterns. I've been knitting since I was 5 years old, and I still considered myself a beginner knitter. I'm dyslexic, so I had a really difficult time reading knitting and crochet instructions. But I've always known how to knit and purl. And this pattern, this little hat, it's like a beanie, very chunky beanie style, was designed by Heidi Gustus. And I think that it's great. It really gives a beginner kind of an empowerment, and I got a lot of confidence in learning how to decrease and increase in the pattern. It was especially easy and quick because the yarn is so bulky, and I use these really super chunky Boye needles, a 15 millimeter, size 19.
And so you said you whipped these out like in a couple of hours.
Yes, under 2 hours, especially if you've made a couple, which
All right.
I did.
You made a few.
I made a few.
I would love to just get started right away
Sure.
because we've got a lot to cover. I'm really excited later because we're going to talk tassels and pom-poms, which I love. But let's start from the beginning. Let's start with the long tail cast on.
I thought this was magic when someone taught me how to do this. And you need an extra long tail, so you can kind of do like at least 3 times or 4 times the width of your hat is a good measurement. And then you're going to do a slip knot, just like this, okay? And you want to make sure the tail is towards you, and you're going to hold it up like a V, like this. And you're going to put your index finger and your thumb in between, hold with your bottom 2 fingers like this, and you're almost going to make like a slingshot, okay? Like this. Then you're going to take your needle and you're going to pick up with the thumb and move over to this finger like this through the loop and give it a little tug. So there's your second. So we'll do that a few more times. So remember, because this is your working tail, so you want to make sure you're not using this, okay? And you're going to go again, so it's like a slingshot down, in through the thumb, around here. Oops.
You got it. Under, over, pull.
Over like this, and then pull.
We'll do one more just to see it. I use the slingshot reference too.
Yeah, I think it just makes
Is that just lore?
Well, I think everybody kind of does that. And the person
Totally
that taught
thought I
me,
made it
like,
up.
that's what they did. And I was like, okay.
No, it makes sense. Okay, so you'll continue casting on as many stitches as are called for in the pattern. So after that,
Well, we have 3 sizes of hats. This is the small, which requires 18 inches. 18 stitches, excuse me. And then, according to your pattern, we're going to start a ribbed stitch pattern. So we're going to knit 2. And then we're going to purl and knit to the very end, and knit is our last stitch. So in the beginning, when you first start with these really bulky yarns and needles, it might be a little difficult, but it works up really quickly, and you'll get your kind of groove in there.
and you're knitting too at the beginning, at the end, because we are going to be seaming, so you need a
Correct.
selvage stitch.
Right. So we'll be doing rib at the other end as well.
Okay.
And you'll continue this pattern all the way down.
Okay, and then you're going to continue that. I'll swap you out.
Okay.
For several rows, as the pattern calls for, and you get something that looks like this.
Right, so here's our rib, and this is your front of your brim. And then we're going to do a stockinette stitch, which is knit 1 row, purl 1 row. And then you'll see on the pattern right side, wrong side. And sometimes because I am a beginner, I actually put a little stitch on the front to make sure I remember what's what.
Yeah,
So
you
that
can
might
put
be
a
little-
safety pin or a split stitch marker, any of it. Yeah.
And then you'll see how this is the back, obviously.
Yeah, well, that's a really good point, though. So the knit stitches look like little upside-down raindrops or
Yep.
little V's. Purl stitches look like little bumps.
Right.
Okay, great. We want to show the decrease, though, right? Okay.
So, and then we'll need a stitch marker right here.
Right there? Okay. So what we're about to see is this has all been worked. She just worked the stockinette part. And now you see that there's going to be some shaping. She's going to show you how to do 2 different
Right.
decreases, correct?
So we're going to knit 6. The other thing I want to mention is when you're working the end, when it's really thick, bulky yarn, just make it a little bit tighter so it's neater, because sometimes you get that really big loop.
Sure.
And then when you're doing your mattress stitch at the end, it might be a little loose. So, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm easily distracted, so it's good that you can recount. So, we're going to do slip. So, slip off like you're knitting, slip off the next one like you're purling, okay? And then you're going to put that in the front of those 2 stitches. Oh, I'm catching the yarn, sorry.
Which
There you
happens
go.
a lot with roving
Right.
yarn, and you just have to back it up. It's just part of working
Right.
with roving.
And then we knit those 2 together like this. And that could be a little tight, so you want to give it a little tug so the tension's the same. And then knit 1. And then you're going to put this cute little stretchy stitch marker on.
Oh, those stretch to fit the...
So you can
That's
use it on
super
all
handy.
different kinds of needles.
Is that Boye also? Great. Of course it is. You're here from Boye. That was a silly question.
So now we're decreasing on the same as this side. So this is going to come in this way, as you can see how this goes in here.
Using
And
the
this-
exact same method.
Right. Well, and this is just knit 2 together.
Knit 2 together.
Okay. And then you just keep knitting to the end of the row.
Okay, great. And so those are the decreases, the same decreases, I'll take that for you,
Okay,
that you'll
thank
use
you.
throughout the entire project as the pattern calls for. And we're gonna go ahead and go up to the increase portion. Let me grab you a needle. There you go.
Okay, thanks. So this was really fun because when I read the pattern that Heidi had written, it said M1R and M1L. So that's your increase. So it's make 1 right, make 1 left. And it's really simple. So we're going to knit. And your stitch marker is really helpful because you want to knit up to 1 stitch. Okay. So in between here, you see these little ladders or bars
Yes.
here? So we're going to come in from the rear. So make 1 right. You can
Oh, okay.
refer to as
Great.
rear through the front. And then you're going to knit in the front. So you're doing the opposite.
Oh, okay.
So let's look again. So I've stretched that out a little bit.
Sure.
So in through the back or the rear, knit through the front. And that could be a little tight. So when you come up, you might want to give it a little tug. And this second stitch is going to be a little tight here. Okay. Then you want to slip over your stitch marker, knit 1. And now we're going to knit 1 left, M1L. So we're going...
Make 1 left,
make 1 left. So we're going to go through the front like this, and we're going to knit in the back. So it's like the exact opposite of
Right.
what we just did. So through the front and knit through the back like this. Okay, and then you knit off the row.
And so that's so it will open up this way.
Right, and so
Okay,
you
great.
get the other
Okay,
side.
and then you're gonna just continue as the pattern calls for, and of course the pattern will be on the website.
Right.
And you're gonna get a piece that looks like this. So from here, all you have to do is,
So basically, we did the pattern, did the stockinette stitch the opposite, and then here you have, and you're gonna fold it in half like this, and you can either do a variety of stitches up the side. So you could do a mattress stitch, or just whip
It's
stitch
so
up?
yeah, it's so fluffy that you could
Right.
even hide, a whip stitch or whatever.
Right.
I want to get to embellishing it though.
Sure.
So
Okay.
you have a few choices. So this has this really interesting little peak. If the
Right.
peak was not your gig, you can make a big pom-pom and throw it on there. Or you
It
can
kind of covers up that little valley
yeah,
for
if that's
you.
not your gig, but otherwise you can actually
Do a tassel, pom-pom tassel, just little poms or something like that.
So we're going to be using the pom-pom maker, correct?
Right. So this is the new Boye pom-pom maker. Makes 11 tassels, 10 different sizes of pom-poms.
Super handy.
So-
Do you want me to trade you?
Sure.
Okay.
So we're using this size, the second size in. It's a 3-inch pom. And I'm going to use this yarn right here. And you're going to see these 2 notches on the side. So you want to leave a tail like this, and you're going to put it right through those 2 notches, and then you're going to start winding. And you want to, don't wind too tight because then you have a really hard time removing the tail, which you need to tie it. And then you're just going to go back and forth like this, okay, till you get something like this here. So there's a few things I just want to mention. There is a technique for a good pom-pom, which is, do you know?
Haircut?
That's one of them.
Okay.
But it's a tight center, like making your pom-pom really tight in the middle so it stays together and it really pops.
Okay.
Okay. So I lost my tail here. Oh, here it is. Okay. Got a little messed up in traveling. So you want to take a pair of scissors and cut that there. And then you're going to find, it's going to pull your tail like that. Okay. So, and you want to bring it in between those 2 little pegs right there. And then usually you tie it off in a double knot and then you cut it. Except when you're using a bulky yarn, sometimes you really can't get it tight enough. So what you can also do is just hold it like a little taco, cut it, and then go back in and double knot it.
Okay, so you would cut it and you'd get something that looks like this.
So, right. So it has a little ridge, and you can just start to cut like that.
Perfect.
Okay.
And you see it come together.
Right. And then here it is right here. You always have to give your pom-poms a haircut. It's
Right.
just the way it is. So here it is. And so what I do is I kind of really fluff it up. If you have a twisted yarn, I actually go in and sometimes untwist every single strand,
Yeah.
and then you just give it a little haircut. You start like
And just
this.
trim it, but don't go crazy. Like, because I've done that before where it's just another, like.
And then instead of a
it's not-
3-inch, you get an 1.5
I know.
pom-pom. So,
Yeah.
But
So
anyways.
super cute. Tons of, this is so versatile. This pattern actually comes in 3 sizes. All of them will be included on our website, thenitshow.com. Thank you so much.
Oh,
that
you're
was
so
super
welcome.
fun. This is absolutely a go-to quick gift item or just, make it in every color.
Which I did.
You did do that. Up next, I'm going to check back with you with some tips on how to weave in those ends with bulky yarn. So sometimes when you're working with really chunky, great yarns, although your project is super easy, the finishing can be difficult because weaving in ends can be a little troublesome. So I have a couple of great tips that will make things a little bit easier on you. So no matter what, you obviously want a really large-eyed tapestry needle. And I also like the ones with the bent tip. I just find that it makes the whole job a little bit easier. So you're going to thread your needle as you always would. But if you're working on a piece like this swatch that I have here or my big shawl over here, some of the problem is that you've got these big open spaces, so there's not a lot of place to kind of hide those ends. So what I always do is I kind of work in the posts and weave down just to get started. So from here, I would probably just go wherever there's density instead of holes, right? So where the rows meet, there's gonna be some density. You're just gonna weave in. And then what I might do, just to kind of just really secure it, is I might go down again, down one of those posts, just weaving in and out. So you would continue that as you always would, weaving in until you felt great about it. Then you're gonna give it a little bit of a tug. But the challenge is here, right here, is that sometimes because there are so many holes, later, especially if it's a garment that's gonna get a lot of wear and tear and twist and turn, this could potentially come out and then your hard work becomes unraveled. So if you just get some simple sewing thread and a sewing needle in the same color, as close as possible, as the yarn you're working on. Just as a little safety, you find that end, you get it settled where it is, and I see that that's right there, and you just take a little tiny stitch. Nobody else will ever see it. But essentially what you're doing is you're tacking down that edge so that you don't have to worry about it anymore. Just snip it and bury it in. And then you don't have to worry at all, any wear and tear. Super easy solution. Another issue that can happen with big yarns is if the opposite of what I just showed you with open holes and crochet, if you're working with a piece that's, maybe got a little texture, but mostly is filled in and is flat, sometimes when you weave in the ends, the yarn is so bulky that it leaves bumps. And so you've got sort of like a misshapen piece, and that's not cool, right? So you're gonna take another needle, and you can use the same one like I did before, but I also really love these ones by Knitter's Pride, Knit Pro, if you are not in North America, because they have these big loops. It's like a big sort of plastic loop, and it accommodates most size yarns. So what I would do is, instead of taking this whole strand, and this only works if you have a plied yarn, it won't work if you're working with a single ply or a roving yarn, is I would unply the yarn as much as you can, and then just take half of the ply, loop it in. We'll pull this to the side, and then from here, I would just weave in as normal, as you normally would with any other yarn or any other project. So I would bury it. You would keep going until, I wouldn't just do what I just did. I would keep going back and forth, right? And then I'd go back with the other one, and I would do that exact same thing, but just in a different area. That way, when you flip it over, it's still the integrity of the fabric isn't going to change. Super easy, small tips that with your big yarn can be big issues, you've made easy and simple. All right, that does it for us today. Thank you so much for hanging out and learning all about big knits with us. Thanks as always to my Knit Hive. It was lovely having you here. Thank you for watching. Remember, any pattern that you saw today or in any episode of our show can be found on thenitshow.com. Be sure to come back for our next episode where we focus on the global aspect of knitting and crochet. We will have knit collages, Amy Small. We'll also have Brazilian designer Paula Pereira. Until next time, breathe in, knit out.